Give us an update on where we stand, because I must say, just as I've been at work today, the number of dead has gone up, the estimates of damages have gone up. Where do we think we are?
Well, we at FEMA are very focused on life safety. This has been our focus for the last several days, and we knew that this event would transition from a wind and storm surge event quickly into an inland flooding event, and that's exactly what's happened. These are not only major inland floods, these are historic inland floods. And with that, there is no guarantee for safety for anybody in any of these low-lying areas. In fact, even outside of the traditional low-lying areas, we're seeing significant flooding, and that's causing some of these communities to be cut off via the roadways that you've seen flooded on your broadcast.
So I won't ask you how bad it could get, because we don't know yet, but when will we know how bad it could get? I mean, as I understand it, some of the rivers like Cape Fear is still before the crest. We may have another, what, 36 hours to go?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Just even when the rain stops, the flooding will continue, because all that rain has to go somewhere. And in those rivers that are already largely at a maximum capacity are going to continue to be overflowing and continuing to go into populated areas. So this is an evolving process. Realize that one area that's fine today may not be tomorrow, and vice versa. We've seen several communities that were cut off and then accessible and then cut off again later in the day.
So Mr. Kaniewski, give us a sense of the scope of FEMA's actions down there right now. I mean, how many people do you have? How much money are we spending? And what is the thing that concerns you the most? What's the weakest link right now?
Sure. Well, we deployed assets essentially from Georgia all the way up to Maryland in the week prior to the landfall. With this storm, we had a lot of notice. The forecast was right on track, and the storm is incredibly slow moving. Now, that was a good thing pre-landfall. Post-landfall, it's not. When it's only moving a few miles per hour, that rain just continues to dump and dump and dump, and it's creating tremendous challenges for everyone on the ground. That said, we knew that there were going to be significant flooding impacts, so we had pre-deployed high water vehicles, helicopters, and commodities, equipment, and all kinds of types of supplies to assist. You're seeing some of that real time, right? The U.S. Coast Guard, look at all the rescues they've been making, as well as our state and local partners working through our urban search and rescue teams. Those are the ones on the ground making those rescues all day for the last several days.
So, as I say, as our count shows, about 18 people have died so far, and every single loss of life is a tragedy. I know that you take that very much to heart. But are you disappointed in that performance, or are you actually fairly satisfied given the number of people in the area?
Well, again, unfortunately, with any natural disaster, you're going to have a lot of damage, and deaths are certainly a possibility. We don't, as you said, even one death is too many. So we at FEMA, along with our state and local partners, have done everything we possibly can do to minimize the loss of life and really minimize the damage to these communities.
Well, let's talk about the damage to communities finally. One of the things that we are hearing these days is that some of these houses are in places that have been flooded before and they should never have been rebuilt. Is the government doing anything to encourage people to rebuild in places where they should not be building?
Well, so many of those decisions are made at the local level. It's local zoning laws and building codes that are put in place at the local level. We at FEMA try to do everything we can to prevent these losses, and that could be through mitigation. We have pre-disaster mitigation programs that we offer to both homeowners and communities to do things like relocation of homes or raising homes higher so that they're above the floodwaters. But it's also on the back end. We at FEMA run the National Flood Insurance Program, and unfortunately, too few people understand that flood insurance is not included in their traditional homeowners policy.